Hey guys, it's Chloe, and here comes your episode 2 review. I just did a 1. Episode 2 review. So episode 2 starts out with, it goes to Elena and Stefan waking up in the morning, and Stefan's talking about how he actually feels awake for once, and it's kind of ironic because this is when you first realize that these vampires can sleep, because she's sleeping, I think. Maybe they can't sleep, but I think they sleep. Then Elena's saying how she actually feels good for once. They're writing in their diary. This is when you want to know, are they going to have more diary entries? Because towards the end of the season, they kind of stopped doing the diary entries. And I know a lot of people either hate those or they really like them. And Julie Plec talked about this in her VRO interview, saying that that's exactly what happens. Sometimes she wants to do more diary entries. Kevin doesn't want to do more diary entries when she does, and then when he does, oh my gosh. So her and Kevin always apparently argue about that point of the show. And then it goes to Stefan and Elena at school, and they're looking at each other, you know, flirting or whatever, and Mr. Tanner, he is the meanest teacher I think I've ever seen in my entire life. If someone ever said or like treated me like that, like a teacher, I'd freak out. I don't let people talk to me like that. When he's like, Mr. Salvatore, are we interrupting something? Well, yes, you are, so why would you even ask? And then Stefan and Elena are walking down the hall after class, and Stefan gives her an original copy of Wuthering Heights, and I think that's kind of cool because obviously he's had it since whatever 1864, and she's like, how'd you get this? And he's like, oh, it was passed down in my family. Then Caroline and Bonnie are walking in the hall, and Bonnie hints that her ancestors were Salem witches. Then Jeremy is like walking out of school, and he sees Tyler and walks up to him and is like, how's Vicky, huh? How's Vicky? Have you even seen her? Is she okay? You know, because Tyler hasn't even been to the hospital to visit Vicky, and Tyler's like, walk away, Gilbert, I could beat you up or whatever. And then he's like, Jeremy's like, I say right here, right now, and if you mess with Vicky again, I will kill you. And then Tyler's like, dang, that was like a death threat. Did you hear that? I just thought that was funny. Then Aunt Jenna is talking to Mr. Tanner. He basically thinks that she's doing a really bad job parenting, which, first of all, why the heck would you say that to someone? He's a dick. Next, I don't even want to talk about this scene. Then it goes to Matt in the hospital visiting Vicky, and Vicky wasn't in her bed when Matt comes in. Matt comes back out and looks behind him, and Vicky's behind him, and he's like, Vicky, are you okay? And Vicky starts screaming and freaking out, and so Matt runs and gets a nurse, comes back, Vicky's laying in the bed fine. Turns out Stefan had compelled Vicky while Matt was gone, and Stefan had walked out the door, and Matt had seen him. So Matt's following Stefan down the hall, and Stefan walks into a room full of, like, blood bags or whatever, you know, in the hospital, and his eyes are freaking out, and you're like, this is when you first realize that Stefan still has struggles with the blood, and he's not, like, a perfect vampire. Then it's like Carolyn, Bonnie, and Elena at lunch. Carolyn's like, so what happens next? What happened next with Stefan? And then she's like, girl likes boy, boy likes girl, sex. I think that line is absolutely hilarious. I can't talk. Hilarious. Then Vicky wakes up in the hospital, and Matt notices, like, she's fine. And then Jeremy shows up, and Matt's like, I think I better leave, because he knows something's going on between Jeremy and Vicky. And Vicky basically tells Jeremy, I don't want people to know about us, it's not right, blah blah blah, you know. Then Elena goes to the Salvatore boarding house, and I think this is one of my favorite scenes in this episode, when the door opens and she walks in, and then a crow flies at her, and she turns around and Damon's right there. Damon talks to her about, oh, you haven't had the awkward exes conversation. Oops, well, I'm sure it'll turn up now. I think that's awesome. And he makes it seem like Catherine, Stefan's ex-girlfriend, and his ex-girlfriend, like, happened yesterday, when really it happened, like, 100 years ago. And then Stefan walks in, and he's, like, totally mad that Elena's there. Damon doesn't say anything. Elena just is like, I didn't know you were coming. Stares down Damon some more, because he always has to stare down Damon. And his face, Stefan's face, but Leslie's face right there, I'm trying so hard not to laugh, because his serious face is hilarious. Like, I don't know why. I was just trying not to laugh. He's just like, Elena, I didn't know you were coming here today. You didn't tell me you'd stop by. Great. Then it goes to Vicky and Jeremy in the bar. Basically, Jeremy's asking how Vicky's doing, and he gives her some drugs to help with the pain. Tyler sees them talking. Tyler walks up, and he's like, hey, Vicky, how you doing? And she's like you care? Walks away, and then he's like, what are you looking at, Gilbert? And Jeremy looks at him all smug, like, dude, yeah, I totally just got your girl, and you know it. Then it goes to all of the friends outside lighting candles with the Comet stuff. Matt lights Elena's candle, and then Elena turns around and lights Stefan's candle, and Elena kind of walks away like, oh god, I don't even want to deal with you right now. She talks to Stefan about how we met and we talked and it was epic. Then the sun came up and reality set in. And then she kind of walks away from Stefan. And then it goes back to the bar, and Vicky's like, I know you. And she like realizes his face but doesn't know where she knows him from, and he's like, well, that's unfortunate. And then Damon attacks her in the bathroom. Then it goes to Jeremy looking for Vicky, like, oh, where'd Vicky go? I can't find her, blah blah blah. Then Tyler and Jeremy bicker some more, because they always have to have a little bickering every 5 minutes, because that's just how they are. There's so many people that think Jeremy and Tyler are gonna like hook up or something, because I don't know, apparently there's lots of sexual tension between the two, which I just think is kind of weird, but a lot of people think that, so I'm just gonna throw that out there. What do you guys think? But a lot of people think that something's gonna go down there, and I don't know why. I just think that's kind of awkward. Jason, that's for you. Then it goes to Damon and Vicky on the roof, and Stefan hears them, and you hear Damon like, I'm not gonna drop you, I'm not gonna drop you, and like pretending to drop Vicky out. And I just think that's so funny, because he's like playing with her like she's a doll, and like literally that shows you what Damon thinks about the humans at that point. Like, he doesn't care about them at all. And then Stefan goes in the bar and asks Bonnie where Elena went, and she's like, I think Elena went home, but here's your phone number and you can text her if you want. And she hands Stefan the piece of paper, and she's like, whoa. Like, she realizes something again about Stefan, and she's like, what happened to you? And Stefan's like, are you okay? And then Stefan kind of realizes something's up with Bonnie. Caroline is like, she wigs out sometimes. It's kind of like her thing. I think that's funny, because if you realize it and you don't really know what's going on from the outside, like Caroline, she does wig out a lot in like the first 2 episodes. The next scene is Jeremy and Vicky and Tyler in the bar again, and Vicky hooks up with Tyler, and Jeremy sees. It's so sad, because poor Jeremy. Seriously, poor Jeremy. Everyone breaks his freaking heart. Everyone he knows freaking dies. And then Caroline finally sees Damon, and she's like walking out to her car, and she feels like someone's watching her, and then like right in front of her, Damon appears, and she's like, holy crap, you scared me, blah blah blah, I was hoping to see you again. And he's like, I know. And then she's like, cocky much? And he's like, very much. Seriously, can I say this again? Damon gets the best lines. The best lines. I don't know who writes them, Kevin, Julie, whatever, but those are the best lines. Best lines ever. Then Stefan and Elena talk at Stefan's house, and they kiss, and it was intense, and there's lots of chemistry going on between Paul and Nina in that scene, and everyone's like, oh my god, they kissed finally. But it's only been 2 episodes. And then at the end, Damon and Caroline are like making out and like doing the dirty, and then Damon attacks her, and then it's like, boom, Vampire Diaries. And then you're like, I have to wait 7 days for the next episode, and Caroline's probably dead? Wow. Wow. And I've already seen the next episode, and I was still shocked. I forgot about that, and I was like, oh snap, dude, Damon just attacked Caroline. What's gonna go down next? Who knows? Watch my review next week to find out. Why does this always happen? Have you ever noticed in like scary stories, everything's either locked or you can't get it open, or like the door knob breaks off? My cats are in the picture. Stop! Go away. Then Caroline and Bonnie are walking in the hall. I'm itching my ear. Why am I itching my ear? Oh my gosh, my cat is being a freak. Meow. Meow. Oh my god! This is always happening. This has happened twice now. Twice. And it's still ringing. They called again. Why can't they just leave me alone? Please. Finally. Thank you for... Oh! And it's freaking telemarketers too. Like, shut up. I'm not going to answer a 1-800 number. I think someone's in my house.